From the dawn of mankind, we've always looked up, always looked at those birds and looked at what's it like to just soar. It's important to know our past because we learn from our past to make a better future.
Watching that video now that I made for UPS, it amazes me. Because in that moment, I thought of, how could this ever happen to someone like me? And I always thought that it'd be something that I have to wait till I'm older. As soon as I got on the airplane, I realized that my dreams were a reality. Watching it now, whenever I get discouraged, like I always look back into, remember how I felt after that first flight. There was something magical about it.
So I'm gonna take my hands off. You're flying.
I'm flying.
I haven't touched the yoke in a minute and 30 seconds. You've been flying the whole time. You're a natural pilot.
This is the best experience in my life.
It is amazing, isn't it?
I just feel like I could fly forever.
Yep, I know the feeling.
Can you help me land this?
Yes. You made it. Your first landing.
There are flights that are very special to a pilot. The first one is today, your very first flight. I have 18 years left until I retire. You'll be 28. Your goal is to fly my last flight with me in 18 years, all right? I really enjoyed flying with you today. It's a special moment. Don't cry, it's a celebration.
I'm happy.
You should be happy.
And I just knew that this was who I was meant to be.
You know, I've had an opportunity to land at Bowman Field a number of times in antique vintage airplanes, and it is such a treat. It's a field that has been in operation since 1920. So over 100 years this field has been in operation. Today's world are basically new airports, newer airports. So to find an airfield that is still being used today after over 100 years is a real treat for someone who loves history, vintage aviation, and everything that America had developed in its road to today in the past.
You can take a Young Eagles flight as young as 8. You can solo as young as 16. Once you have it, the minimum is 40 hours. Then when you're 17, you can get your license and you go take your check ride. So there are age limits.
So don't panic, just fly the airplane. And then we said there's urgencies like your engine temp slowly rising and then your engine running a little rough. And then we got true emergencies like your engine failure, engine fire, loss of pressurization. We already said whenever we go fly, we're taking risks. My name is Mahmoud Aiden. I was 4 years old when I came to the United States from Somalia. But my family fled in the 90s. So my mom, my dad, and all my siblings, they all fled over to Kenya because that's where they're accepting refugees. And during that time, we made it to the refugee camp. We stayed in the refugee camp up until 2004, where we got lucky, we got drafted to come to the United States. Life in Somalia for my parents, it was pretty tough. It was rough, and a war broke out. And once the war broke out, it's just everything was okay until they raided their town. So it was the Somalians that were kind of invading. So they're invading our people. So we're Bantu, so we're the Somali Bantu tribe. And so they invaded our town, just killing, raping, and all this other stuff. And then at that point, a lot of people were just fleeing. So it was in Dagale, Kenya, where I was born in 2004.
When I come here, For class, it's like we have a ground school class on Saturday mornings, and it's really interesting because I found my people. Like, I found people who understand that like this is what we want to do with the rest of our lives, and who are focused and driven, and it's really just encouraging to see that I'm not the only one who wants this.